Hello guys, welcome to Daily Current Affairs and Recent Program from Team Enlight. Because it's World Environment Day, the first news we'll be considering is Paris Agreement and INDC contributions and the key points in both of them. Then we'll be looking into the biodiversity news regarding which has which has concepts such as One Health concept, and we'll also be looking into the key points of National Biodiversity Mission and CBDI and Biodiversity Act of 2002. We'll also be looking into the defense procurement procedure in the context of DAC clearing RFP, request for proposal for six conventional submarines. So we'll be looking at the key points of DPP, then DAC, and other few important terms in this context. Okay, let's get going. Paris Agreement and INDCs. The news was in the Paris Agreement was in news in the context of COP26, which is scheduled to happen in Glasgow, UK. The news the news article gives importance to two of India's leading initiatives, which is ISA and CDRI, which we have already covered in detail. It also talks about Paris Agreement's commitment of limiting global temperature rise to 1.5 to 2 degrees Celsius of baseline. It says that it requires us to at least half our global emissions by 2030 for us to achieve that. It also says that for us to achieve that, we also have to achieve a net zero emissions by the middle of this century, both of which requires and calls for strong actions from governments across the world. Okay, we'll be looking into the important points of Paris Agreement now. Paris Agreement is a legally binding international treaty on climate change. It was adopted by 196 countries in COP21 in December 2015. 2020 target, Triple 20 target can be often found in use in the context of Paris Agreement. It refers to decreasing carbon dioxide emissions by 20%, increasing the share of renewable energy in total energy by 20%, and increasing energy efficiency by 20%. Then you should know about NDCs, that is nationally determined contributions. They are reported every 5 years by individual nations. They are not legally binding. There are a few important issues that affect Paris Agreement and the consensus. One of the important issues is the concept of CBDR and RC, which is nothing but common but differentiated uh, responsibilities and respective capabilities. You can read more about it. It is in this context that you have two types of you have two annexes for countries. Annex one refers to developed countries. Annex two refers to developing countries. So basically, CBDR concept is that different nations have different capacities and therefore different responsibilities, and we need different goals for different sets of countries. It is in this context that Annex 1 countries have uh, promised to mobilize $100 billion for climate change transition and investment in Annex 2 countries by 2020. So you should know about the issue of historical emissions. India and China, developing countries, which are one of the major emitters of carbon dioxide at present, uh, they have also raised the issue of historical emissions and taking them into consideration while setting goals for climate change. So these are some festering issues. We can read more about it. What about India's INDCs? India's first INDC contribution commitment is that we will reduce GHG emission intensity, greenhouse gas emission intensity by 33 to 35% from 2005 GDP level. Then we have also promised to increase the share of non-fossil fuel electricity in the total electricity to 40% of the total electricity. Then we have also promised to create an additional carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide equivalent through forest and tree cover, increasing forest and tree cover by 2030. So these are the key things in India's nationally determined contributions. Okay, so these are the things that you have to know in Paris Agreement and INDCs. Moving on. Biodiversity was in news, and again, this is an important news regarding ecosystem services and other stuff. So we'll be looking at what are the key things mentioned in the news. It talks about the staggering valuation of natural forest alone, which is 1 trillion per year. And the article says that if we combine other natural resources such as grassland and oceans, this would be much, much more. It discusses about the One Health concept. This is an important concept. It basically combines or encapsulates human health with that of environmental health and animal health. This is a encapsulated and combined concept which includes or integrates human health with environmental and animal health. This concept was used and promoted and is primarily promoted by FAO, WHO, and World Organization for Animal Health. This primarily comes in use and is relevant in the context of zoonotic diseases, food safety, and combating antibiotic resistance. Okay, in India's policies, National Mission on Biodiversity and Human Well-being is one policy which clearly explicitly mentions One Health concept and links biodiversity with that of human well-being. Then other mentions in article which are important from the prelims perspective include National Biodiversity Vision, which is a PM STIAC mission. It has two missions. NBM has two missions. The first component is that of cataloging and mapping life of India. So it basically involves comprehensive documentation of the biological resources and biological diversity of India. The second component includes six separate programs, including dedicated for ecosystem services, climate change and disaster risk reduction, agriculture, health, bioeconomy, and capacity building and outreach. Then you have Convention on Biological Diversity. It has two protocols, Cartagena Protocol and Nagoya Protocol, which you have to know. Cartagena concerns biosafety protocol, whereas on the other hand, Nagoya Protocol concerns two protocols. Nagoya Protocol concerns access to genetic resources and their fair and equitable share. You should all know that CBD recognizes sovereign right of states to use their biological resources as they wish. These are the important things in this section. Another important thing is what has India done in the context of CBD. In the context of CBD, India has enacted an act which is very important from prelims and mains perspective, which is Biological Diversity Act 2002. It primarily concerns conservation, sustainable use, and equitable sharing of benefits from biological resources. It formulates a three-tier structure in the governance of this act. It is NBA at national level, SBB at state level, and BMC at local level, which we'll discuss further. So we'll see. All the offences under Biological Diversity Act 2002 are cognizable and non-bailable. Important thing to know. And it comes under the ambit of National Green Tribunal. It comes under the ambit of NGT. Regarding NBB, NBB is the National Biodiversity Board. It's a statutory body uh, headquartered at Chennai. Then you have SBB, which is State Biodiversity Board, formed by state government. There are no SBBs for the union territories. In fact, the role of SBBs in union territories is done by NBB itself. And then at the local level, you have BMC, which is Biological Management Committee, and it is responsible for the preparation of PBR, which is People's Biodiversity Register. It's a comprehensive info on local biological resources. You should also know that biological heritage sites are named under and are categorized under BDA Act. Okay, that's all from biodiversity area. Moving on. Defense procurement procedure. This was in use mainly in the context of DAC's note for RFP of six conventional submarines under Project 75I. So we'll look into DAP, Defense Acquisition Procedure 2020, which was released last year with an objective of making India a global manufacturing hub. Project 75I concerns manufacturing of conventional submarines. The model that is being followed right now is that of strategic partnership model, wherein an Indian private company is selected as a strategic partner, and it will tie up with the foreign original equipment manufacturer for technological and other support. That this is part of India's 30-year plan for indigenous submarine construction. Okay. Also, it is nothing but a portion of a contracted price with the foreign buyer or foreign company, which has to be reinvested by the foreign company in the defense sector in India. Okay, offset conditions were one of the major clauses in defense acquisition procedure before 2020. It has been modified in 2020 though. There are a couple of new categories in DAP 2020. One is buy global and manufactured in India. So basically, you can buy a global product, defense product from world market. However, it will be manufactured in India, thus improving the manufacturing, defense manufacturing in the country. Leasing of defense goods, which are very capital intensive in nature, has also been allowed. A couple of other initiatives that you should know are Mission Raksha Gyan and Innovations for Defense Excellence. Mission Raksha Gyan concerns inculcating IP culture in Indian defense sector. On the other hand, IDEX is basically aimed at promoting innovation and technology development in the defense sector. Okay. Then DAC. DAC is the highest decision-making body for procurement in India. The council, DAC, acquires and is responsible for procurement of defense materials for all the three defense services and also for the Coast Guard. The chairman of DAC is the Minister of Defense. Then there are other few terms that you have to know really well in this context. One is AIP, which has been mentioned in the news. AIP is relevant in the context of conventional submarines. You should know there are two types of conventional and nuclear submarine. Nuclear submarine, as the name suggests, is run by nuclear power. On the other hand, conventional submarines run on diesel electric engine. And many of these submarines need to resurface frequently in order for them to collect atmospheric oxygen for combustion. But air independent propulsion technology allows them to remain submerged for a longer period of time. So it is mainly air independent propulsion concerns conventional submarines. It allows them to remain submerged for longer period of time. That is what you have to understand. Okay. Then nuclear submarines were created under Advanced Technological Vehicle Project. We have two right now. One is INS Arihat, which has been inducted. INS Arihat is still undergoing sea trials. We should also know that nuclear submarines are important in the context of nuclear triad. Nuclear triad is the capability to launch uh, nuclear weapons from all the three: land, air, and oceans. So, without nuclear submarines, nuclear triad is not completed. So, nuclear submarines are also important from the context of second strike capability because they are the most reliable second strike capability. What is second strike capability? Nuclear deterrence depends on second strike capability. When we say that, it basically means if a country attacks India with a nuclear weapon, then India should have a capacity to retaliate with another nuclear weapon. So, second strike capability allows a country to have nuclear deterrence. So this is also important. Nuclear deterrence. That's all from news today. With more news and articles, I'll join you tomorrow. Thank you.